Yeah, a very heartfelt greetings from all of us for the 75th ICID Foundation Day. It's a momentous occasion. ICID has traveled a long journey, and now we are entering our 75th year of existence. We have had a very long journey when we look at it from a human point of view. But then, for an organization which is dealing with such a vital topic of agriculture, water management, and consequent food security of the world, this is a time when we have to continue and strive to work still harder, because new and new challenges are coming up continuously. So it's a very momentous occasion for all of us, and we celebrate our achievements of last 75 years, and then look ahead for more and more challenges. And ICID as a community has to come back and provide solutions to the world and give the leadership in the world for the agriculture, water management, and also the food, energy, and water nexus. So at the outset, I welcome you all. We have had a number of initiatives that are ongoing at ICID, and recently we are also looking at our 75 years of existence. We are in a process of transforming ourselves, and to that extent, we have already looked at the restructuring of our working groups. We have redefined our strategies, our vision, and also our working areas. And with that, we are commencing a new phase for the betterment of the ICID. We also have had a number of challenges during the past few years, but we are happy to say that even in spite of the challenging circumstances of COVID-19 pandemic, the ICID could survive well through the pandemic years, and we were able to maintain our activities, and we were able to provide the same continued support to the world in the manner that was required in such difficult times. We have had a good two events. The 2022, we had the long delayed ICID Congress at Adelaide. And then recently in November 23, we had a Congress at Visakhapatnam, India. Both the events were very, very successful, and we have come up with new solutions and new techniques during the proceedings of the Congress. We have we have also restructured our themes, and the irrigation and drainage, natural resources, climate change and impacts, and sustainable developments are the new strategy themes that we have adopted in the last Congress, and now we have restructured our working groups in under each of the strategy by merging certain working groups and also by redefining certain working groups. We are in the process of finding the common areas of the new working groups, and then coming up with the new with the new work areas. We will still have to address a lot of new working areas in this context. Newer technology challenges are also coming up, especially in the areas of automation, in the areas of various other new space-based technologies, as well as near space technologies through drones, through low-level satellites. And also, we have got a lot of new challenges coming up in the form of artificial intelligence, the genetic modified crops, adaptive crops for the climate change, and so on. And we will need to work on all these aspects in order to remain relevant and go forward. So we have had a very good time and very good cooperation with various international agencies, especially the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, and then World Water Council, and we had a very successful session in the World Water Forum recently concluded at Bali, Indonesia. We have had very good interaction with the Central Asian states, and we try to understand, and we are trying to cooperate more with the Central Asian states, Middle Eastern states. Especially, we had very good first Middle Eastern regional conference at Saudi Arabia, and with that, we have been able to establish our footprints in newer areas and in newer environments. So overall, we have had a good time, but then we will have to continue working harder. We'll have to find new challenges, and we'll also have to address our sustainability issues and our value to the world, and make our values understood by the rest of the technical and managerial communities of the world. We will also need to have closer embrace with the United Nations and such other organizations who are interested in developing and in the sustainable development goals and achieving the world's through the achievement of the sustainable development goals. So at the outset, I will welcome all of you once again. And then we have a full program as we had recently we had projected. We will be first having the address by Dr. Marco Arcieri, President ICID, and then we are fortunate to have today Dr. Lifeng, Director FAO Land and Water Division, and also we'll be having address by Engineer Felix Reinders, and also there will be an address by Dr. Eriberto, Eulisse, Executive Director, UNESCO. So we have a very good full program with us, and let us expect that we will receive newer insight and newer directions from all of you in taking the ICID further. So at the outset, I will now request our President, Dr. Marco Arcieri, to give his address. You can share the screen and you can show the presentation also.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. Once again, thank you to all of you who are here, who participated in this very special day for us. Yes, I would like to have a kind of a different address. I will talk a little bit of the historical importance of structures that we have. As ICID is very much key to establish new prizes. We have this very important section, which is the World Heritage Irrigation Structure. So I will give a presentation today on, I will try to now to share my screen. I hope you can see it. And yes, I would like to give a presentation on some of the history that Italy holds in terms of irrigation structures going to the Roman Empire. So I will talk a little bit about the accumulation, conveyance, and distribution systems that we have here. Some of these have also been awarded by ICID. So start the presentation. This is I think the chair of the Italian committee might recognize this structure. This is in Umbria. So talking about the Roman Empire, it was stretching over 3 continents, ruling for many centuries, and was home to something estimated like 70 million people. So it was a vast area, and thus ensuring a stable food supply was very difficult because of the variable and arid climate of the region of the empire, different regions of the empire. So it was very important to have availability and ease of access to water in order to have proper development of the population. So This possibility made them highly resilient to short-term climate variability and allowed the civilization to thrive for centuries. Why was it so important? Because if they had an effective water management, they could have more food, produce more food, have more population, more men, and in the last analysis, they had more soldiers. So they could have a greater military power. So how was it possible for the Romans to guarantee a constant supply of water and food to their cities in this difficult situation? The first solution was to build aqueducts. They were conceived by the Romans to guarantee a continuous supply of good quality water to the cities of the old empire. I can hear some background noise. Maybe can I ask everybody to mute the microphone? Otherwise, there is some kind of, yes, thank you. Now, the Roman maybe were among the first builders of large aqueducts, not the only one, of course, in the ancient world, but certainly they were among the greatest engineers, and their skill was recognized just about everywhere. So this skill greatly contributed to enhance their aura of strength and power, as well as their invincibility. But very often, water supply was difficult to guarantee because the sources were located quite far, sometimes like 100 kilometers from the urban settlements. So they had to carry out very precise studies in order to guarantee an efficient conveyance of water. An excellent example is the Roman aqueduct of Pont-du-Gard, which most of you will remember we visited in Montpellier in 2015. This is in France. Now, the length of this aqueduct is about 50 kilometers, so it's not one of the longest, but amazingly, the slope is very, very low. So in this case, it was only 0.034%. That means 34 centimeters per kilometer. So you can imagine what great work of staking and measure had to be carried out in order to guarantee the slope and the head for the water to travel. So all these technological innovation introduced by them were crucial for the growth and expansion. This is the aqueduct of Caesarea in Israel. And in this
Vuoi che intanto inserisco
also,
qualcosa dopo ci parliamo?
scusa, devi chiudere il microfono. Okay. The technical innovations also combined with this effective trade policy were able to guarantee adequate and constant food supplies to the cities who were increasingly larger, and so they were experiencing significant population growth, increasing their military power. So how was the system of aqueducts working? Water was coming from natural springs or from reservoirs, because the Romans also were very skilled in building reservoirs, often where they were located several kilometers away. So the water initially was decanted in special tanks that were called piscine limaria. This had the function to decrease the speed of the water flow and also allowed for the necessary sedimentation processes of mud particles and or other suspended materials. So the movement of water was, of course, occurring by gravity. So we could think of this system of the aqueducts they were building like a kind of a slide along the planet route and for the entire distance separating sources from the final destination. Of course, in order to have a good descent of the water, the aqueducts were designed in such a way that every component of the structure following was placed at a slightly lower altitude than the previous one, of course, and the following one, of course, at a slightly higher altitude than the next. So there were, of course, obstacles such as slopes or ravines, which were overcome by means of bridges and viaducts. And again, these were designed in such a way to allow the difference in altitude to be overcome, and in order to reach the opposite side of the slope at a slightly lower altitude, in order to prevent the slowdown of the water flow. A very interesting and smart system they were using in these cases was the so-called inverted siphon, which you can see a photo here in this slide. And this was a technical solution based on the very physical, very basic principle of communicating vessels. So immediately before reaching the slope, water was collected in a very special tank, and from there, water from force was forced in a pipeline designed to reach by gravity the bottom of the depression, and then climb uphill the opposite side to a second tank, where it was, of course, stored. And obviously, this was located at a lower elevation. And this was possible because of the pressure generated by the slope gradient. In order to facilitate, of course, the process, sometimes they also were building this viaduct, building downstream so that they could reduce the height of the hydraulic drop and minimize the pressure required to make water climb on the opposite side. And on the other hand, when the terrain was flat and when they were coming closer to the urban areas, the flow was guaranteed by arches, a continuous series of arches, some of them which could reach up to 30 meters in height. And of course, they crossed the countryside, keeping the prismatic head high enough to reach the city. So this is the scheme you can see here, from either it was coming from the reservoir or from a basin or from sources. So they had this general system of distributing and conveying water. An excellent example, again, is in Spain. Spain holds many hydraulic structures of the Roman Empire, very well preserved. This is one of the most stunning ones in Neria. This is in Spain. And of course, as I was saying before, the Romans also were very excellent engineers in designing and building dams and weirs. Two examples, both for irrigation and civil uses. Excellent examples again in Spain is the Proserpina Dam and the Conalvo Dam for the reservoir they were managing in Spain. Water was collected on the right side. You can see the Conalvo Dam. It was collected in order to serve the city of Emerita Augusta, was founded by Emperor Caesar Octaviano Augustus in 25 BC. So it was built in order to provide water delivery. This is for instance, this is a 200-meter long dam characterized by a structure made of stones, equipped with a Castellum Aquae. You can see here on the side. It was designed for the water intake, and this was built in the last quarter of the 1st century AD in order to serve the Aqua Augusta, from the name of the Emperor Aqueduct, which you can see here on this right side of the slide. This is the aqueduct, Aqua Augusta, that is still very well preserved in Spain. This was originating, of course, from the Conalvo Reservoir and was located about 15 kilometers north of the city of today Merida, from Emerita Augusta. This is the city of Merida today. This is the very famous ancient Roman theater. You can see the wonderful pillars in marble still there. And the aqueduct, of course, was covering something like 18 kilometers to the countryside and ended up in a cistern which was located near the current Plaza de Toros of Merida. The other dam I want to talk about is Proserpina. Is quite more than double. It's 428 meters in length, has a maximum height of 21 meters. It has a sloping shape, of course, made with steps, and it is formed by regular granite stone ashlars. And this reservoir was collecting both rainfall and water both by two streams, the Adelphas and Lepardides. What I would like to stress here, and it's most really amazing to announce, is that these two dams, these two reservoirs are still there, still working, still operating today after 2,250 years. This reservoir was, of course, serving the famous aqueduct of Milagros, which means miracle. And also this aqueduct was supplying water to the city of Merida. And in this case, this aqueduct was bringing water to the west side of the city. And as usually the Romans used to do, the aqueduct was entering the city in the highest point where there was an inferno who was collecting water and then distributing by gravity water. It was called the famous Castellum Aquae. This is a very famous structure. You can find it just about everywhere in all of the Roman aqueducts. Now let's move to the Middle East, because the Roman Empire was also stretching towards also Syria, and there's a very famous, another famous reservoir created by means of the Homs Lake Dam, which is also known in Arab as the Katina Dam. This was near the city of Homs in Syria, and is still in use today. This structure dates back to the 2nd century AD. It was built by the Roman Emperor Diocletian, who was the emperor of the eastern part of the empire, for irrigation purposes. This is the city of Homs. And you can see here the Noria, a famous structure that the Syrian were in the middle, famous for all the Mid-Eastern countries, also in Iran. This is a masonry gravity dam. It's 2 kilometers long and 77 meters high, with a depth of approximately 20 meters. It is made of a central core in Roman concrete in opus, protected by basalt blocks, and it had a capacity of almost 19 million cubic meters, and most likely it was the largest Roman reservoir in the Middle East, and most probably the largest artificial reservoir built up to that time. And surprisingly enough, the basin has never or very little experienced a situation of siltation between then and now. In 1938, there's a, as you can see, the main structure of the dam has a slightly pointed curvature. So somehow these structures bear some resemblance to an arch dam, very slightly. In 1938, the Syrian government decided to raise the level of the dam, so the volume of the artificial lake was raised to 200 cubic meters, 200 million of cubic meters, still working today. Another, and this is the last one, very famous dam is close by to the city, the mythological city of Palmyra in Syria, on the road to Damascus. This is the city of Palmyra, for those of you who have visited these wonderful ruins. It was built by 1st and 2nd centuries AD by famous Queen Zenobia of Palmyra, but then it was restored and used by the Umayyad dynasty in the 8th century for irrigation purposes, but also serving the nearby Qasr al-Gabi Palace. It was connected to this palace by means of a special canal. Now, the dam consisted of a concrete central core covered with ashlar stones, as you can see here. The wall is approximately 18 meters wide at the base, is more than 20 meters high, and stretches for 245 meters in length. It is well preserved, of course, because there has been very little mining activities in the nearby settlements, and it was designed to collect the seasonal floods of the stream running by into a storage basin to be used all year round. Well, interesting enough, the dam has 3 outlets. There's 2 main bottom drains located at the base of the dam in order to allow the flow of the torrential waters during the winter season. And there's a 3rd one, which is based on the upstream side, and it is on the upper side of the dam on the other side, and it was located about 11 meters from the top of the structures. And this one was made of terracotta with a smaller diameter. Now the reservoir, you can see here a photo from above, was having a capacity of about 5 million of cubic meters. Now it's full of sediment, mainly it's silt. And it was measuring up to 1,500 meters in length, this reservoir, and was like 800 meters wide. So quite amazing structure as well. Now, going towards conclusion and the last section of this presentation. So the question is, there was a huge amount of water required to serve such a large population. And a complex and organized society as the Romans could not afford, course, to face disruption in water supply, especially for military reasons. And even though most of the Roman aqueducts proved to be reliable and very long-lasting, this is another wonderful example of the aqueduct in Portugal, Aqueduct Pegores. There could be, especially in Italy, but all over the Mediterranean and Middle East area, earthquakes, damages, or malfunctions. So they began to conceive and design accumulation structures, conceptually known from sometimes that they were used for the collection of rainwater, the cistern, which they learned this technology, of course, from Middle East from the Iranian civilization, from the Arab. So they just managed to arrange this technology. These structures, the systems were very important in event of disruption of service, because the repair or the maintenance operation could last several days. So this cistern, this is a very famous one in Fermo, close to Ascoli Piceno. My chair of Italian National Committee, Professor Mangiola, most likely knows this very famous, very beautiful and well-preserved cistern in Fermo. They were depending on the size and capacity, they could guarantee water supply for more than a week, sometimes even 2 weeks, without any problem. But of course, it is clear that design and realization of these structures, because of their magnificence and complexity, would not have been possible without the possession of advanced technological knowledge for their time. So this is why I was saying a few seconds ago that they learned about this solution from other civilization. A very famous military base was near Naples, and this is some of these cisterns was usually located along the terminal trade of the aqueducts. In this case, this very important naval base, Capo Miseno, was the most important naval base for the Roman Empire, for the Roman Navy. And this is why they built this very special cistern, which is called Piscina Mirabilis, which in Latin means wonderful pool. And it was conceived to serve and guarantee water delivery for a large population, and especially for this very important naval base. This is the area. I was there with Dr. Eriberto Eulisse from UNESCO just on Friday. We have a very special workshop there, and there's a huge heritage patrimony that needs to be still discovered still today. So why was this base very important? Because it was home to the 3 boats belonging to the classis Missenensis. These were the backbone of the Roman Navy. And the external part of the base, the outer harbor, could host up to 250 ships, while the internal one, this internal part, which was connected by canals, was used as a shipyard for intervention of restoring the efficiency of the ships and manutention and so on, and maintenance. In the background were, of course, the accommodation for the officers. The most famous one was the villa of the Admiral Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder was a very famous naturalist as well. He was an admiral, so he was a military man, but he's very famous also for his thorough studies on nature. And most importantly, he was the one who described the terrible eruption of the Vesuvio in 79, you see. And actually, he sailed with his ship from Capo Miseno to discover and see what was happening, and he died during this expedition. But he also saved hundreds of lives from Pompeii, from all the villages that were invested by this rage of laving, and from the eruption of the volcano. He saved many lives, but unfortunately, he lost his life on the beach of close to Pozzuoli. Now, there was also special school that was established. It was called the Militum Schola. And after more than 2,000 years, this beach is still named today Mili Schola. And this is the beach you can see here. And the Roman Navy sailors, the Marines, we could say that today, they were trained here on this special beach, and the technique of assaulting the ships and fighting on the ships and so on. And still today, the beach has the same name. Now, overall, the base was hosting more than 6,000 men as a ground force, and there were 4,000 civilians, there were shops, there were even prostitutes, and the fleet was ensured by 20,000 crew members. So you can see this was a very strategic naval base for the Roman Empire. Of course, water required was remarkable for such a huge population. So they conceived, as I was saying, a reservoir to build in case of disruption of service. And this is the Piscina Mirabilis. You can see here, is the entrance to this cistern, which, as you can see, somehow resembles a cathedral more than a pool or a tank. The cistern is 70 meters long, 25 meters wide, and is 15 meters high. It is supported by vaulted ceilings, and there's 48 pillars. They are arranged in such a way to form 5 naves. And this is another photo you can see here. It's like more like really like a cathedral. It was dug entirely into the tough originally rock of the promontory above and has a capacity of approximately 12,000 cubic meters. The base is 1 meter lower here. You can see the base, and there's a spot, it's 1 meter lower in the center. So to facilitate collection and washout of the sediments. And the bottom drain was positioned in the lowest point of the cistern. There was a slight slope in order to allow emptying and washing operation. The walls were made with Roman opus reticulatum technique. So there were these kind of bricks. And the pillars are made of tuff, and all of this was covered with water-repellent plaster. And you can see still today, still there. And lighting and ventilation were allowed through special openings that were placed in the ceiling of the structure. Another excellent example, and then I will conclude, is the Cisterna Basilica in Istanbul, very famous one, which is a slightly lower, slightly smaller than the Piscina Mirabilis, but as you can see, still has water, there's fish, and there's so many interesting anecdotic on the presence of this fish here. More than 100,000 people go and visit this cistern in Istanbul. Another very famous cistern in Istanbul is the Cisterna of Theodosio, Emperor Theodosio, just opened some time ago. Again, also this cistern still has water, and it's, as you can see, it's very well preserved, and it's wonderful to visit. This cistern was conceived to serve as a terminal trade of the aqueduct of the Emperor Valens. And this is my last slide. This is the famous cistern in Formia in Italy, also another important heritage site. And with this, I thank you for the attention, and I give the floor to Secretary General. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Marco. It was a very interesting presentation, and we could get a glimpse of what the ancients were able to achieve with respect to their water management. And we need to really learn a lot, and also we need to emulate a lot in taking it forward. Now we have the address by Dr. Lifeng Li. He is the Director, Land and Water Division of Food and Agriculture Organization, which is a key organization for ensuring the food security in the world. We eagerly look forward to having his address. Dr. Lifeng.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. Can you please confirm that you can hear me well?
Yes, we are able to hear you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Secretary General Ashwin Pandya, and also congratulations, President Marco Arcieri, for your recognition of your excellent work in advancing the water security agenda. It is a great honor and a great pleasure for me to join this very special celebration, 75th Foundation Day. It is very important that we both look back and also look forward.
Can we have your presentation on a full screen mode?
Yes. Can you? Okay. How about now? Is it the full screen now?
Yes, now it is.
Okay.
Better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And indeed, the FAO and ICID have been collaborating with a long history, and I would like to capture some of the collaboration but also use this opportunity to share FAO's work on irrigation development for food security and climate resilience. Indeed, our collaboration really started a long time ago, from 1955, and largely focused on these 4 areas in terms of development of joint knowledge products, and also consultations and experience exchange, organize specific capacity building and trainings, as well as representations in each other's networks or task forces. And the development of a joint knowledge product dating back to 1975, when the first publication, which is entitled Small Hydraulic Structures, was published. And compared to Marco's presentation, focused on the larger one, our first publication really focused on the small hydraulic structures back to 70s. The growing food demand really required the need for both increasing the crop production and also improved water resource management. To achieve such objective, largely it's have 2 sorts of strategies. Firstly, it's the expansion of cropland, or secondly, through the intensification of crop production. The projections show that the future intensification will rely less on cropland expansion, but more really on the intensification practice in the agriculture. National government and decision makers have been paying renewed attention to irrigation development as a solution for intensifying crop production, clearly indicated by the growing proportion of domestic investment in irrigation infrastructure beyond international finance. Globally, probably you know that irrigated cropland, although only account for 20% of cultivated land, but produce about 40% of the food that we eat. Irrigation development has been significantly contributed to the food security over the decades. The world population doubled between 1970 to 2015, which was followed by a technological reform in the agriculture sector. At the same time, the area equipped for irrigation has also doubled in the past 60 years. Together with other practices and technologies, the production of cereals almost tripled, and the production of vegetables increased 4-fold, just to name a few of the results of this improvement. On the other hand, irrigation development supported the diversification away from low profit crops to cash crops. As a result, that increased the return on investment of irrigation development programs and improve the income of rural communities. Investing in irrigation is not only about the yield increase anymore, but also about the resilience. The most evident manifestation of the climate change is really through water-related impacts, as we are experiencing more severe and frequent water disasters such as flood and droughts. In other words, water is at the core of climate change adaptation. This applies exponentially to the agriculture sector and thus also to the food security. Irrigation sector must be transformed to respond to the parallel challenges of the growing food demand and climate change in the future. Water used for agriculture already accounts for 70% of human water use globally. And consequently, the key question is how water resources are managed to enhance crop production in the future without increasing the total water requirement. The mission of ICID to promote and achieve sustainable agricultural water management is intertwined with the objective of the Land and Water Division of FAO, namely enhancing agricultural productivity and advancing the sustainable use of land and water resources through improved management, development, and conservation of natural resources. During the long-standing collaboration, a common understanding of the challenges have been developed, but what is more important also is to discover the solutions to these challenges. As already presented, knowledge exchange is at the heart of collaboration, and this involved a wealth of experiences in sustainable irrigation development. The knowledge exchange include, for example, technological related solutions, policy level interventions, and last but not least, also tailored capacity building at all levels. The aspiration of countries to develop the irrigation sector is increasingly growing, but it is increasingly difficult to mobilize and secure sufficient financial resources. This is because investment must be prioritized and distributed among the competing demands of development objectives. Just as the theme of today's anniversary, how irrigation contributed to economically viable food security must be proved and demonstrated. Irrigation can potentially increase yield, support crop diversification and cash crop production, and stabilize production volumes even in disaster-prone period. But irrigation development at scale, it is a big stake investment. There are some key criteria and requirements to ensure that investment in irrigation will live up to the promises. FAO has already available solutions to fulfill this requirement. For example, firstly, the selection of areas for development must be substantiated with a range of criteria to prove the feasibility of irrigation development. Of division, Land and Water Division in FAO, we launched a new initiative to map national irrigation need and potentials. Thus, through that effort, we'll set the directions for irrigation planning and development. The objective of irrigation need and potential mapping initiative is really to develop an approach for the identification of areas suitable and justified for irrigation development based on 4 essential criteria: the biophysical suitability, the development need, the realizable benefits, and also the required legal institutional frameworks. Beyond the physical viability, the approach looks at the development needs in the context of sustainable development goals and the financial benefits simultaneously, meaning that economically viable food security is an essential part of the method. This approach is formulated through a global consultation process with a fundamental role and contribution of ICID as a project partner. Equally important, investment in irrigation must entail co-benefits, but also trade-offs. Water is central to agriculture as well as to other economic sectors. Therefore, integrated and coordinated actions are needed to align the objectives of different sectors, thus turning the existing competition for water into a harmonized and coordinated management of water resources across all sectors. FAO's new initiative, National Water Roadmaps towards the 2030 Agenda, set the objectives to support countries in this process, thus accelerating the implementation of the 2030 Agenda. Within the concept of the National Water Roadmaps, the goal is really to demonstrate that investment in one sector can be implemented without jeopardizing the need for others and bring multiple benefits to others. As a concrete example, investment in better irrigation practices in paddy rice production can generate ecosystem benefits, but also transform the landscape into a touristical attractive destination in rice-producing countries. But the contexts are different, and the roadmaps must be anchored in the actual conditions. Roadmaps are defined based on the context of the countries. This is why I feel we called the implementation, it should be really a country-led process through the country-led multi-sectoral dialogues and participatory processes to produce those national water roadmaps. Thirdly, to make decisions on irrigation development and irrigation management, data and information is inevitable. Data and information is needed to understand the cause-effect relations between the production conditions continuously alternated by the climate change, and also the performance of irrigation and its impact on food production. Data and information is equally important to understand the economics of irrigations. FAO supports countries with data management from acquisition to interpretation. A multitude of water monitoring systems have been installed in countries, and including multi-dimensional systems for discharge, water quality, and demand monitoring at the system level, or water supply and water use monitoring at farms level. Beyond the systems relying on the ground truth data, FAO has also developed and is operating multiple systems for irrigation monitoring, including the portal to monitor water productivity through open access of remotely sensed derived data, we call it VAPOR. AquaStat is also a global information system on agricultural water resource management with over 180 variables and indicators. To facilitate the navigation across the wealth of statistical data and geospatial data, a platform we called through the open access hand-in-hand geospatial platform collates all georeferenced data to act as a one-stop shop for all the stakeholders. A particular merit of such umbrella infrastructure is the provision of information on natural resources use, agriculture sectors, and food security. Finally, concrete and tested field solutions are needed. FAO works on scalable solutions that respond to the actual need with considering the principles of sustainability. Those examples including the mobile irrigation infrastructure to optimize the investment costs, the best farm management practice to increase yield with optimized water use, and also the on-farm information system to reduce water use, improve the efficiency. FAO, in collaboration with partners such as ICID, have been working towards the 2030 agenda through the transformation of agri-food systems for better production, better nutrition, a better environment, a better life, leaving no one behind. Irrigation is an essential part of such a process, which is needed for the transformation in the agri-food systems. With that, I thank you very much for your attention and wish you a great celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lifeng Li. It was a very enlightening presentation indicating the activities of FAO and how we have been able to work together for such a long period of time. I thank you very much for sparing your time and addressing the gathering. Now we will have address by President Honorary Felix Reinders, who has been a very vital expert in the micro irrigation.
Thank you very much, Chair. I believe you can hear me.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we are able to hear you, and your slide is also visible.
And my slides are showing. So without further ado, very short presentation just on water management to enhance food security. But first of all, congratulations to ICID on the anniversary of the 75th Foundation Day, with best wishes to every one of you, the management board of ICID, all the national committees, and the ICID staff on this momentous occasion. And we have already seen that. It is 75 years of excellence since 1950 up till 2024. Really white diamond celebration time. So we are all proud to be part of an organization that has successfully steered through the testing times of agricultural water management and has sustainably created value for all its stakeholders. We all know that the main mission of ICID is to promote sustainable agricultural water management to achieve a water-secure world free of poverty and hunger through sustainable rural development. And ICID, as a knowledge-sharing platform, is dedicated to issues that covers the entire spectrum of agriculture water management practices, ranging from rain-fed agriculture to supplemental irrigation, land drainage, deficit irrigation, full irrigation. And we all know that there's also focus from ICID on floods and droughts, the two extremes of increasingly a variable climate as a result of climate change. And the definition, of course, of food security is existing when all people at all times have access to sufficient, safe, nutritious food to maintain a healthy and active life. And the recent, and when I'm saying recent, this year, this report has been published, the Global Food Security Index, dated 2022, but they only released it this year. And that explores the challenges and developing solutions for food security across 113 countries. And if you page through that report, the main focus of food security is, of course, affordability, the availability, the quality and safety, and sustainability and adaptation. And by utilizing techniques that was handled with the 113 countries, the index showed that in many countries, the scores are very low, especially Africa, and especially Sub-Sahara Africa, with other highs of 75 to 84. Now, if one look at the overall food security index scores by region, you see the global average is 62.2, with North America doing the best with 78.6, and then it goes down to, of course, Sub-Sahara with only 47. So that is the current situation. And if one is looking at the overall food security environment, the top and bottom ranking countries in 2022, you will see that the top performer was Finland with 83.7. And that is the 10 highest scoring countries on the left. And then the weakest performers, the countries on the right, with the Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo with the lowest, one of the lowest scores, together with Sudan, 42 to 43. So that is regarding food. So what is needed to sustain food production? Work that has been done showed that if we continue with the production levels, we will have a shortfall in terms of different crop productions. Maybe someone can just mute their microphone. It's interfering with the presentation. You could see with maize, there will be a shortfall by 2050 of about 67%. And also with the other crops like rice, wheat, and soybeans. So the annual increase rates need to be doubled. And game-changing solutions are needed to produce more with less. Now, the question is, of course, what is the importance of water management? And in this regard, ICID is playing its role with its partners, together also with the FAO worldwide, where agriculture water management is the continuum from rainfall management through to irrigation for food production. It includes field water conservation practices, water harvesting, supplemental irrigation, groundwater irrigation, surface water irrigation, and drainage. Also considers both development and management of water for food. And according to the statistics from ICID, about 1,533 million hectares are being cultivated today, with about 300 million hectares currently under irrigation. And most of that irrigation is, of course, surface irrigation, 80% of that. And there's a growing application of micro irrigation, with a total of close to 20 million hectares, or only 1.3% of the total world agriculture that's been irrigated with drip irrigation. And as mentioned also by Lifeng from the FAO, that 20% of the total agriculture area supplies about 40% of the world food. So increasingly, irrigated agriculture plays a significant role in terms of achieving more yields and doubling the yields that we need to have. So by the year 2030, the following should have been achieved: the doubling of global water productivity, increased efficiency and water saving from 60 to 95, increased food production, increased and intensified production, reducing of risk, diversified production, renewed, sustained natural resources. And we all must continue to modernize irrigation systems, improve operation and management of irrigation systems, implement water-saving techniques and technologies, promote institutional reforms, support water productivity enhancement, improve performance of irrigation systems, use wastewater or poor quality water for irrigation, and encourage participation management of irrigation systems. So in times of scarcity, we all have a responsibility to use water wisely, efficiently, and productively. The importance of water is the key to food security. It's not just for primary production. Water for agriculture connects us all together. In times of scarcity, we all have a responsibility to use water wisely, efficiently, and productively. We need to be more water smart.
Thank you, President Honorary Reinders. It was a very enlightening presentation, also indicating the role of ICID and what new works we have to take up, and what new goals we have to achieve. Thank you very much for making such a nice presentation. Now we will have a brief address by Dr. Eriberto Eulisse, Executive Director, UNESCO Global Network of Water Museums.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. Thank you. I'm very grateful to the Secretary General, Mr. Pandya, and to the President, Mr. Arcieri, for this invitation. Congratulations, first of all, for this historical achievement, for the long history of ICID. I think it's a very success to celebrate today this anniversary. I'm I have the pleasure to give a short introduction of the possible framework of a cooperation between the global network of water museums and ICID. I would like to share also my screen, if possible, and what I'm going to do now. First of all, making reference to the cooperation between UNESCO IHP and the Global Network of Water Museums. UNESCO IHP, as you know, is the Intergovernmental Hydrological Program of UNESCO, and the Global Network of Water Museums is a flagship initiative of IHP. So it was endorsed by a resolution in 2018. By the way, at the time, the president of the IHP Council was Professor Andras Solasinasci, who at the time also made the auspice of future collaboration between your organization and the Global Network of Water Museums. So since we recently met with the President Arcieri a few days ago in Naples, and we discussed also about the possible future cooperation, I would like now to inform you about some of the possibilities of this cooperation. So
Can we
the
maybe
global network.
just ask Eriberto to put it on the big screen, the presentation?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So actually, well, we have also in our governing body our president from the Netherlands, from China, one of our deputy presidents, Chen Yongming from India, Sarah Ahmed, and Abdelbi El Mandour from Morocco. We have today almost 120 water museums in 41 countries, totaling together 25 million visitors per year. And these are not equally distributed because most of them are concentrated in Europe. And so we have still to work to enlarge our membership to other countries. But I'm stressing, I would like also to stress the point that we, in our network, we don't have only museums in itself. We have a broad definition of museums, because we also include community-based museums, extended museums, and also, as I will explain now, local communities and indigenous people that are working to preserve their environment. And a good number of our members are also promote irrigation systems. And that's the main reason for speaking about possible collaboration. So basically, our water museums are all engaged to strengthen water sustainability education, which is the second priority of IHP Phase 9. It is in the nature of water museums to involve large public visitors, students. And as I mentioned before, actually, we have more than 25 million visitors per year, counting all our members together. So in thinking about possible and future cooperation, I mentioned that we met with President Arcieri in Naples to celebrate the affiliation of the Piscina Mirabilis, this unique heritage dating more than 2,000 years, that is today also one of the members of the Global Network of Water Museums. Basically, this Piscina Mirabilis is managed by the National Archaeological Park of Phlegrean Fields, because to formalize a membership, we need also an institution. And to include new members, we have two main criteria. One of them is to manage an educational program on such a water heritage. And the Piscina Mirabilis fully satisfied these criteria. The other criteria we have to consider possible membership is the management by local communities. And I would like to focus now on our contribution to the 10th World Water Forum, where indeed we included case studies focusing on the second criteria. for the 10th World Water Forum, we developed a multi-channel immersive video installation focusing on ancestral hydro technologies. The Voices of Water was the title of this immersive video installation, which is also the concept of a traveling exhibition for different water museums that highlight, in particular, key topics, what we consider key topics for food security and climate change impacts. So focusing on ancestral hydro technologies, well, I don't think I have to explain how these technologies work, but I would like to remind a key concept that many of these ancestral hydro technologies that are still managed today by local communities also function as nature-based solutions. And this is the main reason for the Global Network of Water Museum of including them in this multi-channel video installation. At the moment, we could include only 8 case studies from Morocco, Algeria, Ghana, Iraq, Indonesia, Australia, Peru, and Brazil. And four of them we're focusing on irrigation systems. You can see the Subak system on the bottom, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You can see also the construction of Ktara in Morocco. And then we considered also other hydro technologies, like the construction of wooden boats, building pile dwelling villages, and so on. So for the World Water Forum, which was open only for 5 days, we had approximately 3,000 visitors, many schools at the same time, showing confirming the high interest also from students and from schools to appreciate and understanding more about this ancient irrigation system. What you can see here is the immersive video installation that was made of 5 screens. In that case, Morocco is showcased with the pictures, drawings, interviews, explaining how this ancient hydro technology is still managed today by local communities. So we had also some important meetings with the ministers, especially with the Morocco, Indonesia, and Saudi Arabia, to develop more case studies. This contribution is not only conceived not only for the 10th World Water Forum in Bali, but also for the Virtual Science Museum of UNESCO. The Virtual Science Museum is a forthcoming project of UNESCO, and WAMUNET will contribute to develop the chapter of ancestral hydro technologies with 30 case studies by 2025. And so this is basically one of the possible frame of reference for future cooperation with your organization. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Eriberto. It is a very interesting presentation indicating the role that the museums can play in water education and also conserving the heritage and the history. Thank you very much for exposing us to the new topic. Now we have some time for the views from a few national committees. So we would request all the national committees to kindly raise their hands so that we are able to give them the floor in turn. Presidents Honorary, we are blessed with a number of our Presidents Honorary, Dr. Kaisrul, Dr. Gao, Dr. Nairisi, Dr. Felix, who has already presented, and then Dr. Ragab. So any of our Presidents Honorary would also like to take the floor. We'll be happy to do so at this moment.
Well, I'd like to wish ICID a very happy 75th anniversary. And I really enjoyed the lectures that came starting from President Marco and on to the last one. So all the best for ICID, and I hope there will be another 75 years to come.
Yeah. Thank you,
Okay,
President
Secretary.
Kezrul.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you in World Irrigation Forum in Kuala Lumpur. Thank you.
Oh, I'll be there in Sydney as well.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. Yes, I would like us. Sorry, let me see let's see. Yes, I would like also to thank you for the celebration, and as the nice presentation which I was listening and watching properly. My feeling is that as we go along, our responsibility is getting more because irrigation is getting very tough job worldwide. You have an ICID responsibility worldwide is getting more important. So we have to be more connected to other international organization to do a joint work. Otherwise, we cannot achieve this very important goal for next 30 years. So we have to make a better commitment and jointly with others in order to achieve more results, to have some part of this problem, food security, to be solved together. And I would like to thank you all from Central Office for all your hard work and this celebration.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nairisi. And President Honorary Gao, would you like to?
Thank you, Secretary General. So it's very pleasure to see all of you, dear colleagues, dear friend, in this special day of ICID 75th anniversary. So as dear colleagues and the leader mentioned, water contribute a lot to food security. Now the water problem getting more and more serious. Water shortage problem still over there, and also flood and drainage problems also over there. So we have to face this real problem seriously. So I think ICID has done a lot during the last 75 years, but we still have a long way to go to do more for the sustainable development of food security and water security, and also energy security. So I hope all of us can think this challenge seriously, and let's continue work hard for a promising future of irrigation and drainage development. I'm looking forward to see all of you in ICID meeting in Sydney. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Honorary Gao. And now we'd like to hear from President Honorary Raghav.
Okay, thank you, Secretary General, and congratulations to all members of ICID for the 75th anniversary. I would like to start by thanking the India government, because without really the initiative of the India government during Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister by that time, wouldn't have been celebrating the 75th anniversary of ICID today. It's really, we are grateful to the India government who took the initiative to establish ICID. And I also would like to thank all the members of ICID for their input over 75 years to keep ICID going all the way forward. Today we have learned alarming situation from President Honorary Felix about the food security and food poverty, and that actually puts even more pressure on ICID members to try to improve the food security in so many countries as listed by President Felix. And also from the FAO, we have also learned about the importance of irrigation and importance of increasing the irrigated areas around the world. And I think ICID is it's in a unique position to help in both in improving food security and also improving the irrigation efficiency so that we can, with the same amount of water, irrigate more lands. So ICID has a lot to offer, and it is in a very unique position. And we have now the different working groups after restructuring, and we have now new themes that they make physical sense. And with that, really would be able to advance even more and more. Have a nice anniversary and congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you, President Ronald Raghav. And now the floor is open. I think Vijay has raised his hand. So you can make a brief intervention.
Yeah. Namaste. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all today, even though it's virtually. I'm very, very happy to see all the colleagues, senior and junior ones. Any organization having a history of 75 years is not easy. We have survived through good and bad times. India became independent in 1947, and in just 3 years independence, Government of India laid down the foundation for ICID. We got established on 24th of June 1950. It's the contribution of all the presidents, all secretary generals, and not the least the ICID Central Office staff, who are the founding pillars for ICID. Wish you all well. We hope that we prosper even longer and longer and longer. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vijay. And now we would like to request some of our vice presidents honorary to say a few words. Dr. Bartali.
Yes, thank you very much, Secretary. It's a great pleasure for the Moroccan National Committee of ICID to be member of this very honorable institution, which is ICID, and we are proud to say that continuing to work with ICID is very impactful for Morocco, and we hope to be like a link between ICID and Africa, where a lot of work is needed. So we are proud to say also that we will have a new vice president of ICID in the person of our General Secretary Mohammed Bouham, in order to keep working hard, because that is, as it was mentioned, there is a lot to do for resilience. Just this week we're having resilience study days with EWME, and in this context, you know, having ICID as a backing institution, scientific and technical institution, is wonderful. So congratulations and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Bartali. And we also have Dr. Watanabe, who has been very instrumental in recasting our technical program for the future. I would request Dr. Watanabe.
Thank you, Secretary General. Representing the Japanese National Committee, I would like to congratulate the 75th anniversary of the ICID. Today, I also enjoyed a very excellent presentation of our friends. Based on our excellent histories and experiences, that we have to advance, we have to continuously develop the ICID. The next year's our irrigation fallout, its theme is the irrigation sunset industry. The answer is very clear, no. But every day we have sunset and sunrise. Always we have to review our situation, and we have to renovate, and we have to develop. Every year I say, today, June 24 is my birthday as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Many happy returns of the day.
Yeah, the ICID is a little bit elder than I, but with ICID, I am still growing up. Still, with ICID, I will grow up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you,
sir.
Dr. Nabe, and very happy coincidence. Thank you. Dr. Laszlo, would you like to?
Yes, thank you very much, Secretary General. On behalf of the Hungarian National Committee, I also would like to welcome everybody and thank you all for organizing this meeting and wish you all the best for celebrating the 25th ICID Foundation Day. As you might know, Hungary is a little bit younger in ICID. We only joined 5 years later in 1955. And actually, we are struggling with, reorganizing the Hungarian National Committee, and there is a struggle going on how to continue in ICID with our National Committee, and also how to keep up the Hungarian National Committee in Hungary. Actually, I just returned from Hungary yesterday, and I had a couple of meetings there, also trying to reorganize some things there. So let us all hope that all those goals and objectives, what we were hearing about now, can be continued. And I know that we are not the only country struggling with such kind of an issue. But it's important, and also the importance of this organization, of this international organization, was very well formulated in the nice presentations. I especially enjoyed all those which were dealing a little bit with history, as being also a member of the history working group of ICID. So I'm really happy to be part of this family. And again, on behalf of the Hungarian National Committee, I would like to thank Central Office, Secretary General, President Marco Arcieri, and all of you to formulate this celebration. Wish you all the best for this Foundation Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we have, I think, Dr. Jaivat Vichavit from ICID. Dr. Irina is here from Russia. Would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you. At first, I would like to thank the all national committees who join in our activity and work together during these years. And of course, I would like to thank the Central Office for organizing this celebration and join all of us together. It's very nice to see all friends, all colleagues here, and I think that it would be very fruitful year. We start with the drainage workshop in Dushanbe, and I hope to see all of you in the Australia, in Sydney, and we in our activity would spend in Australia. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Bye bye.
And now we have from CTCID, Dr. Ray Wu.
Yes, but well, congratulations to ICID on its 75th Foundation Day. Chinese Taipei, well, original Taiwan, we joined the ICID, I think it's about 50 years ago. But then in 1995, we used this Chinese Taipei as a title to continue work with ICID. And we are very proud to be and very honored to be part of this family. And we are organizing a dedication of 30 people this year to Cindy. So then I'm looking forward to see all you guys in person in Sydney, and I wish everybody the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your very lively participation and very nice presentations that were made and made our 75th Foundation Day celebrations so rich and so meaningful. We at the outset, we are all thankful to all of you for having participated in the proceedings, especially Dr. Marco Arcieri, President ICID, Dr. Lifeng Li, Director FAO, and President Honorary Felix Reinders, and Dr. Eriberto Eulisse for making such nice presentations, and all of you who have made the event very rich and very successful. Thank you very much, and a happy 75th ICID Foundation Day once again to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
See you very soon.